So Bartosz was in Viacom for, you said 20 years?
Almost, yes.
So we met there. Now he is the general manager of BBC Studios for the CEE region, which is our region, which we value dearly. And this is a great honor. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation.
I'm really humbled. I haven't been on stage for a while.
Thank
so,
you.
I'm a little bit still shaky. So forgive me, if I sometimes forgetting, English words and stuff like that. COVID did a lot of that. So apologies for that one.
So we're first going to see the presentation you sent, BBC.
Yes.
The biggest export company in the world in terms of content, and a public television, which says a lot.
Yes.
So let's first take a look at the video.
Cool.
Imagine what a spectacle it must have been.
That's rather brilliant. Clever.
In our connected world, all news is international.
This is the front line between wildlife and human life.
Witness their wonders while there is still time.
I'm ready to take on the world.
This is a magnificent specimen of a super predator.
Disco freed me. It saved me.
Welcome to the 1% Club.
That is a view, isn't it? That's what you're paying for.
My finger.
Yeah. Huge company, huge shoes to fill.
It is.
But you have a new role.
Yes.
And the role is general manager for the CEE.
Yes.
CEE is a tough market.
It is. It is a tough cookie.
But you know everything about it.
I think. I hope.
You do.
Well, yes. It's constantly developing thing, right? And I really find it fascinating. Despite the fact that I'm in the market for pretty much more than 2 decades now, when the proposition from BBC arrived to take this job and opportunity, was something that really, really thrilled me, to be honest, because when I was in my consulting role after almost 2 decades with first Viacom, then Viacom CBS, and now Paramount Global. I was like, what next can be exciting? And talking to some people in the consulting role, when I got to the point of a discussion with BBC and they offered me a job, I was like, that's actually really cool, because the brand is there, the value is there, the quality is there, reputation is there, recognition is there. So a lot of ticking, boxes were actually ticked for me. And when thinking about something that you think you know well and can really help with, it's actually exciting. So this role is opening actually a new chapter for what we believe at BBC. It can be considered a new chapter for ourselves, because as much as the team is great, and a lot of fundamental stuff's been already done, I think this is not yet what we think about BBC when we think about the BBC. In a sense, that deserves more. And that more for us is pretty much like a more presence, more umbrella and all-in type of a game for us, portfolio-wise. Not only portfolio of channels, but also portfolio of products, portfolio of divisions, portfolio of everything, you name it. There are channels, there are podcasts as audio services, there is consumer product, there is content production, there is lots of other initiatives and areas of opportunities that from now on, we have that covered out one umbrella for all the region, and we all in for the game. So that's actually exciting when a project like that arrives.
And we're glad that it's you, because you know the region very well. I personally have been working on starting the productions and co-productions for the region. That's why we had NEM in Zagreb, which is focused on co-productions and productions. Do you think you could do something about that with the region?
For sure. Actually, currently we are working on a 5-7 year plan, and probably that's not exciting. But what's exciting on our side is the fact that we've got the opportunity to define the new or newly approached pillars for us for what's to come. And in that, there are some of them are less relevant for this audience because they are more on the inside of the company. But what's on the outside of the company is actually exciting, because when you think about BBC, probably going on the street and ask what BBC is for you, right? Still, there might be some people who might say like, "Oh, I don't know BBC." We would be surprised, but there might be some people like that. But those who heard about BBC, they immediately and spontaneously would respond to that kind of a question, like news, right? So let's park news for a while here. The second one is like, oh, great content. Because no matter what platform you are watching that content on, it's still, coming with lots of voice when produced by BBC Studios. So here, when you ask me about like what we can do about something like that, yes, we can, and moreover, because I think it's more important, we really, really want. Therefore, when it comes to production and co-production, it's something that it doesn't feel right that it's not present here for BBC Studios to the extent that we would like that to be, both in terms of like covering topics, exploring opportunities, storytelling elements, you name it, all of them. So definitely something that in Zagreb I hope we'll be able to talk about more.
Yeah.
I'm still happy to cover that a little bit here.
Yeah. Yesterday we had a very interesting panel about every country is trying to, in terms of content, be seen worldwide. Mm-hmm. So it was a panel about how does the CEE create a content that could go worldwide.
Yes.
I think BBC is a good fit for that.
I think so. And I also want to be very, very fair to everyone, because you know what, we have no time to waste going forward. The thing is that there is a reason why drama for international purposes is developing more in, let's say, Western countries, or what is the last couple of years hype, which is Scandinavia and Benelux, because it's a home for crime mostly, right? Not as a violence on the streets, but as a content IP development hub. So drama will be extremely difficult, because whoever tried here in this part of the world to send something outside to the world,
yes,
it's not necessarily super successful.
Yes.
It's way more successful here, pan-regionally, locally, you name it, with either local incumbents or smart like as tiny studios.
Yeah.
But what works, definitely, and this is what we would like to test the waters first, is non-scripted area, which is non-drama, but factual, documentaries, anything, you name it, that works, that is storytelling stuff that is much better positioned to travel outside. And why we are also hunting for that one to tell the story is not only to always compete with all the biggest in the world of the streaming platforms, etc. On the other hand, that would help, right? Much. But also what would help is us having the ambition to chip in to our global content library way more from this part of the world. And this is how we're going to approach it as a first step, to go and find the right partners and partnerships to produce, co-produce, develop IP, different types of models, different types of partnerships that we can have and arrangements with people from, us having content slate and giving that for localization here, or completely the other way around, someone pitching a great idea and us producing that. We have to just find a flexible business model that would, make us partners in that crime, not necessarily only crime content.
And CEE is relatively big.
Yes, it is.
It's not that small of a portion of the world.
No.
And yet, we're all so different. So I think that would be a challenge for you to... That's why I'm always telling you, it's great that it is you.
Okay.
Because you're from Poland, you know the CEE inside and out, and it's reassuring to have a person who feels because media is in everything else. If it's not a drug that you can take for a headache or...
No.
But you have to be very specific in treating certain countries.
Yeah, I think we have like a room mix that is a mix of people and different countries, different nationalities and passports. And as you mentioned, very kind of you that the right fit. I hope I am. I spent long years in the region, not navigating, the whatever we've been building in my past and history shoes for that other company from Warsaw hub, but actually I was in the region. I spent a lot of years in Budapest, Belgrade, Tel Aviv, and
yes, Tel Aviv
other
also,
countries.
I remember.
But what's the most important here is that content is definitely one thing, but it's not the only thing.
Yeah.
Right? So we really need that room of people, whether you are producers, whether you are our partners for distribution, or whether you are partners to sell ads that pay our bills. This is that we are so keen to talk to everyone, because as I mentioned at the beginning, the one thing is that we want to be one umbrella. The second thing is that we really, really need eyeballs. And this is what I covered as like a nickname of we deserve more. It's not just us bragging of high quality content and all this stuff, but the thing is that when you look at the media landscape across CEE, in Poland, the presence of BBC is quite okay-ish. Yeah? There is always things that you can do more.
Yeah.
Across other territories, it varies more. A little bit in Czech and Slovakia. And by the way, we a couple of days ago launched BBC First channel with our great partners in Czech O2 and T-Mobile, and in Slovakia with Slovak Telecom. So that was June the 3rd. So great new channel is already there. Previously we were just on, but not just, but in VOD's service there with that kind of content from Earth and First, but just a side note. So we know that we are missing eyeballs. We're missing eyeballs that would help us to actually recognize BBC content and quality of the content delivered to the audience way more. Because when we stick to tiny packages and not with everyone yet, we just limit ourselves with the opportunity to tell these stories. And now going into the region and trying to produce and co-produce with, our partners in the region, that would deserve these eyeballs even more, right? Because that would be a real regional effort going forward on the top of all these thousands of hours that we are providing, from our global library. And that's important to say because we are not just utilizing the stock of our content, that our great content sales team is approaching some of you on a daily basis saying, hey, this is the catalog of 54,000 hours that we are offering right now on a daily basis. But every single year, BBC Studios produce another 25 to 3,000 of hours, still missing this spot. And that's the great opportunity to change it.
Yeah, yesterday it was very funny on a panel because they were discussing the art of acquisition. And Katarina Pavlović from Prva, from Serbia, said, it's not so much an art as a martial art. Because when you try to acquire content that you would like, you're saddled with 54 other thousand hours of something that you don't want. But you're still settled. You cannot pay for that. So the structures of the deals are also an important thing that I don't know if this is going to be your role, but it's general manager.
Yes.
So, and it's BBC Studios.
So I'm generally managing.
So you have to general manage everything.
Yeah, I know. I think you touched a very important thing. And that's something that is another message that we want to send out to the market right now, is that we will be evolving and changing our business model. In order to address the requirements of more like an extended number in terms of eyeballs looking at us, at what we do, what we are delivering to the audience and our partners, because depending on from which perspective you are looking at the value chain model, sometimes you are like an ad sales client, sometimes you are a cable satellite mobile operator, sometimes just OTT service, sometimes streaming, you name it. But the thing is that our flexibility needs to be set out and loud here. We will be way more flexible going forward because that's the way, from my experience in this part of the world, sometimes and high probably the key to success. I don't find easy way. I don't find easy way. That was never easy. It never be as hard as it is right now. When things are growing, like, it was all crazy 20 years ago. Everything was like uphill. Now it's more complicated with more international players, with streaming, all the mix, you name it. We can follow all these statistics that are telling us on a daily basis, hey, you know what, it's all great across Central Eastern Europe because linear TV is going to stay here much longer than in other parts of the world. Expected number of pay TV households by 2028, 2029, 2030 is going to be 40, 45 million tops. So still we are having some time to address the changing environment, because one might say, okay, this is just a statistic which says this is pay TV households, this is the streaming households, we're going to beat them by 2030. But what it really means for us, right? More to think about going forward. And this is what I think we've got a chance to address now. And for the bigger player like us, and that acronym of player is just great here, because whenever I'm saying market player, it means BBC player. But jokes aside, it's like for us, it might be a little bit easier to address because we have brand, content, library, content production, channels, digital products.
Breedbox, yeah.
Breedbox.
That is huge.
That is huge. Still focusing more on the English-speaking markets, but hey, you know what? You never know. The thing is that with this BBC Player, what we don't have yet with BBC Player, because currently we are offering that in so-called affiliate model, which is the ingest to existing OTT platforms of our great partners, whether it's cable, satellite, or mobile. Doesn't really matter for us as long as we cooperate. But what we are missing is like a standalone, more like app solution or something that could be offered.
Are you sure?
And this is, and I will tell you, it's important what the comment that you made. Am I sure? I'm sure for one thing. You never know before you test it, or unless you test it.
Oh, I know it so well.
You know it.
No, I know the testing phase.
Yeah,
I know.
So I think that sometimes you have to fail on something, right?
Oh, yes.
And I'm not saying that we are testing to fail with product like BBC Player as an app, but I would like to offer that in some sort of a partnership in the market that would help us to bundle that to make it more attractive, but at the same time, let us learn. Let us go through this path, right? Otherwise, we'll be all guessing. And you know what, on guessing, you know how it is.
You remember when Pickbox started 10 years ago?
Yes.
We tomorrow are celebrating the 10th anniversary.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I survived. No, I did. It was hard. And it was hard for me to test, so I get you.
Yeah.
You go, you test. I'm brave as a person, obviously, but I wanted to test it, and everybody should test it. And you have the luxury of having this huge company behind you, a company
that helps. That helps.
Oh yes, that helps. We should all be so lucky.
Yeah, listen, I'm not the one who is trying to hide behind the screensaver. I'm rather like an honest and open person.
No, you're.
It's great to have such a massive backup.
Yes.
To whatever you do.
It's easier.
Oh, life is easier in your corporate shoes with things like that. And it's much easier when there is no meeting you cannot set up.
Yeah.
Using your business cards, right? The real reality starts, when you're already there in the room and how, you can address
when you're out there.
The elephant in the room, right? How that goes. But without, going without saying that BBC staff is absolutely massive, absolutely amazing. And moreover, I'm in 4th month of my, a manager who is generally doing something role, and I'm discovering more and more potential on the inside and on the outside. So again, don't be afraid. Come talk to us. Whatever idea you might have, flexibility will be key to success. One, talking about everything also helps in terms of communication. We don't want to be bottleneck of discussion. We want to be a forefront of discussion. We definitely believe that we deserve a seat at the table in media landscape in this part of the world, generally in geography, no matter which geography we are talking about, because we can be a game-changing driver going forward. And I'm absolutely humbled to be in the front of that opportunity and face the business.
Bartosz, the CEE welcomes you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
for accepting our invitation to do this.
You can count on me going forward.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And
pleasure.
Kudos to you.
Thank you. Hvala.
Thank you.
Thank you.